Hi, Janine.
Thank you. My name is Geniene Preston, and I'm from Johannesburg. I have a radio. I started my own online radio and TV station a year ago, having been a radio presenter on regular radio, and then met up with Celeste because they had such a great opportunity for us to platform innovations and inventions, and I began to stream some of their club nights so that other people could hear more about them as well. So I'm 62, I think, last count. And yeah, just started all this new, inventing myself, reinventing myself every day, learning new products, new programs, finding ways to make internet radio much more a platform for people to promote their product, because they can use the internet to do that.
Geniene, I believe you've got a presentation.
Yes, I
have.
Shall I go ahead?
On, by the way?
Yes, they are. You can see I've got the torch right next to me, though. So,
okay, so
and I'm on.
When you go into the dark, then we'll know that you're going to put on your torch and do whatever you're going to do.
Absolutely, and I'm also hotspotting my phone just in case the internet goes off with the lights. So, guys, can I start my presentation?
Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Thank you, Emma.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see that you started sharing.
But it's still black. Oh yeah, I can see it now.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Oh, good. So my presentation really is about how to sell your product. Okay, so my presentation is all about sharing your things that you need to be able to do. You may have the most amazing product on the planet, but if you can't tell people about it, they won't know about it. And I've always found in all the products I've created, and I've created some really unique products. We created stickers for the back of cell phones. We created the ability for people to go online and talk to each other and to live stream nights like club nights. But you have to sell that to somebody. And we had, what I did was, sorry. So for me, all about, if you're going to be presenting something and you're going to be talking to people, you have to be able to make it. I tell people, first of all, about myself. I tell them all about who I am, how many children I have. I tell them about my dogs. I tell them about where I live, the donkeys on our property, and suddenly we're friends. So when you're talking to friends, you feel a lot more relaxed. So I find when I make them listen to me because I'm fun to listen to, TV just becomes a secondary, my product just becomes something secondary. So when I present as if my product is already part of the company. So I take my product to the company. I take it with the product already designed. My online presentation shows them that I'm already part of their organization. And I talk as if I'm one of them. So I talk to them as colleagues. I say, hey guys, did you see what we did last week? Did you see what we're going to do next week? I make them believe my product already exists. So I say to them, hey guys, did you see that my product was able to do this? Or like, for instance, with my radio and TV, I say to them, did you hear your radio ad on TV last week? And they go, no. And I say, well, yeah, let me play it for you. And I play them a radio ad I've already done for them. I utilize research I've done on the internet. I use my voice as a voiceover. I use some royalty-free music. And before you know it, they're already a part of my radio station because they haven't got the imagination. They haven't got the imagination you have that already created your product. Find ways to make sure that people in the room are the decision makers. I always walk into a room and say, so who signs the check? And it makes them all laugh. But at the end of the day, they're already in my pocket because I know who makes the decisions, because those are the people that are going to be asking questions. I present like I've got no competition. Whenever somebody says, have you got any competition? I go, no. Do they have a radio ad like this? Have you seen my TV ad? I created that. So no, I don't have any competition. So it's always good to present your product as if you have no competition. I walk the talk. When you're going to present your product, you must have the audience. Let them get to know the real fun you. Fun of things that are your product brand.
Geniene, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you check your sound again, please? Geniene, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Is the
Yes,
sound
okay,
better?
thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Apologies, really apologies. This is just a disaster. So let them get to know the real fun you, understand how your product works. So what I normally do is I have some fun when I use products that I buy online that have lifetime licenses. Because we don't have a lot of money, I look for lifetime licenses on things like Doodly and Canva. And products like that I learn. And then I use them to create the visuals that I want to present the company I'm presenting. Why did you create the product in the first place? What made you think of it? I said to them, well, I created it because I want to be able to show people online how to do it. Oh, there's no light. So often people come back and say, but what do we gain from it? Well, you gain communication or product that people haven't yet thought of. So what we did with our radio product, everybody said, but how many people listen to internet radio? I don't know, probably it's my mom. That's okay, because it's not only about who listens to music, who listens to shows. Why don't corporates use it to talk to their drivers? Since COVID-19, we have all these drivers on the road. They don't know who they work for. They have no idea about the company they work for. So I introduced, why don't you use the radio? You take a license, we'll show you how to do it. We'll train you, making our income from training and giving you a license, and you talk to your drivers out there. So suddenly, it didn't matter how many listeners we had. At that time when we just started, I think only my mom was listening. Because it was a brand new concept. People didn't know about it. And in order for people to get to know about me, I had to tell them how their product could work. Create future product. I created all my futures when I just started. Value. Value can the product bring to those who are going to be using it. I suggested to a corporate you use the radio to your drivers. They looked completely surprised. I said, but how does that bring us value? I said, because when your driver gets to deliver the product, imagine he's your salesperson. He gets to the gate, he delivers a cell phone. But when he delivers the cell phone, he can say, and by the way, do you know we sell covers too? Do you know we sell additional batteries? And have you thought of a selfie stick? And suddenly there was a whole lot of value. A product they had no idea could bring them that much value. Of course, when it came to my goals, I practiced in front of my family. I always talk to my dogs. You look at me very sickly, but I also my family, my friends. Make sure that I for lunch. Say, right, guys, you're my customer. I need to talk to you. I need to see what objections you can raise. Those are things that are really important to remember. This presentation product I'm using now, I found online and I used it because I can send to my customers afterwards, and it's interactive. They can turn the pages.
Your sound is gone
plays
again,
my radio in the background. I didn't put the radio on the background
Geniene,
in this case.
Geniene, your sound is not good again.
Create pictures. Create pictures that. Okay, let me quickly.
Geniene?
Yes, I know. I'm trying.
No, I just would like to make a suggestion that's come through. Would you
sound a
prefer
bit better?
not to share your screen?
How's
and
that?
then just to talk through your presentation.
Speaker, select the microphone. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can, for the last time, but other than that, perhaps you'd like to stop
Yes,
sharing.
does it sound better?
Yes, it's okay for the moment,
Yeah.
but perhaps you'd like to stop sharing and just talk through the presentation, the remainder of the presentation.
Sure, let's see if that helps. Let me just
This was a
stop
suggestion
share.
that's come through.
I did. I stopped sharing. Can you hear me now?
Okay,
Okay,
but
apologies, but
can
we
still
can't
see your
use my
screen.
desktop. I did stop sharing. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Perhaps you'd like, now we've lost her.
Oh,
I'll watch for her to come back on.
It's load shedding, and it's obviously everybody in the world understands how disruptive it is. So that's it. Oh, there she comes back. Hey, Janine, we lost you for a minute.
Okay, I'm back.
Back to bad sound again.
Can you hear me?
very like low.
Sounds like a kidnapper.
Janine, we can't hear you.
I want to be a kidnapper. Okay, can you hear me now?
Now we can, yep.
Okay, can you hear me now? Apologies. So
Yes.
I've stopped the screen share because I can't use my desktop because of the electricity. My whole studio is connected to the electricity and we don't have a generator. We live in literally deep in dark Africa. So basically what I was trying to say is when you're presenting, the way you present your product is what sells your product in the end. It really doesn't matter what you present. If you're able to engage your audience, you're able to engage them enough to buy your product, to be able to ask questions about your product. And for me, one of the things is the most exciting thing is to be able to watch people engage with me when I'm speaking. When I'm speaking, I never stop moving. I move up and down because I'm an ADHD person, so I can't sit still. But what I try and do is I try and read the people in the room. Sometimes I bring in a friend who is my secretary. And then I always say I have to bring my secretary in because I take so many calls that she has to just monitor the calls and monitor my salespeople on the road. And then I get other friends to text her so it looks like there's customers. And inevitably, the customer buys from me because he can see how busy I am. So it's always about what can tell people. It's not just creating an environment of fun. That's the big thing. If you look at Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, you will see that people always get who always get money or get the investment are those that know their competitors and know their numbers. They know what their strengths and weaknesses, opportunities are. They outline them short and sweet and to the point, but they also tell them a little bit about themselves. And that I think is always the key, is telling people something about themselves. And of course, the more you have fun, the more others have fun. Get people to give you, when you're presenting, always have a picture up of how people love your product, what they use it for. And if you give people an idea of how they can use your product, even creating a video using your phone, creating creating a video of somebody using your product and what they use it for. People don't have imagination. They have to look at you and say, now, what would I use this for? And unless you can show them what they can use it for, often they don't know. So I always tell them how they can use my product. How can they listen to internet radio? They get out of it. What makes my radio more exciting than others? I collaborate. I create more than one radio station. So I have different stations for different people. I learned how to write apps. So I create mobile apps. And before I see the customer, I've already written an app. The apps are really simple too. There's a product called Visa where you work with templates. Within an hour, I've created the client his app and I walk into his room. He's got an app, he's got a radio ad, he's got a TV ad. And of course, I'm the ad. I'm a walking advert for my product, which is what you should be when you decide that's what you want to sell. So it really doesn't matter what you present, what the product is, whether it's something that helps in the home, whether you always need sponsorship and you always need somebody to say, I'm going to take your product, I'm going to sponsor you because I think the product is great. But people buy from people, and they buy from you if they're really interested in what you're saying and in what you're doing. So whenever I finish my presentation, I always have something quirky at the end. I always walk up to somebody with a pen and I give them a pen and they say, oh, what's this for? And I say, this is to sign the check. This is to sign that order form. And they always have a good laugh. But you walk out there with a good feeling. And I mail them as soon as I get back to my office. I mail them this type of presentation with video, with audio, so that they can pass it on. And because it's a link, it's not heavy on their firewalls, and it goes straight through. Then I call them to check were they able to receive it, and did they have any issues with receiving my mail. So I'm Geniene Preston, as I said earlier, and I'm a mom. I'm 62. I have children, one who lives in the Isle of Man. Matthew is 28. One who's Natalie, she lives in London. My husband Keith's got 5 kids, so grandchildren. I have 2 Jack Russells. I have a truck driver's license. I always tell people about my truck because my dream is to go and drive a truck across the world. I drive a motorbike. I wear a headband. I never wear clothes that match, even when I go into a sales presentation. Either my tennis shoes are a different color to my clothes, but I wear a suit with tennis shoes because that's who I am. I'm inherently a shy person. I'm very, very shy. So I have to talk myself into walking into that room, and I have to remind myself that it's okay. If they don't like me, it's not personal. And that's why I love radio, because I don't have to be in front of anyone. I can be behind a microphone and I can just love what I do. I do write as well. I write poetry. And yeah, I tell people about my poetry. Sometimes I write a poem in my presentation because it makes people smile. And when you put yourself under the microscope, that's when people buy from you, because they know who you are. Most of my customers have become friends. And if I look back at all my friends, at some point or other, they were customers. And I'm really sorry about the sound and about the fact that I'm in the car. So the floor is open to any questions.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can find you on video, if I can see you. Sorry. Yeah, there we are. Hi.
So you said you have multiple radio stations, right? Or like
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. What is your most popular? Or what
The most popular are my tourism radio stations, because what I do was I look at tourism in our country, and tourism suffered really badly during COVID. So I went to all our tourism venues and I said, why don't you have your own radio and your own TV station? That way you talk about your own area. People can come on and talk about how much they love. If you're in the St. Lucia area where there's turtles and hippos, people can talk about turtles and hippos. They can play music. And you know what? The whole community gets involved. And when I, as a visitor, want to come and visit, I can tune into St. Lucia radio and hey, I have it all, even what's going on in the town.
Yeah, I love listening to the radio in the car. So like you're not doing anything else, so it's just a nice place to listen to.
You know what? Internet radio plays in the car now as well. It plays through your media device.
Geniene, if I may just make a comment, I think what you presented to us we could use a lot of that. If you're talking about a person who needs to go, for instance, to a teacher to convince them of a project idea that they may have, or an invention that they may want to produce, or a competition that they think should be run, or it's part of selling the product, selling the idea, making the presentation to the essentially client, whomever that client might be. And so your presentation is going to be very useful in the sense that know your product, know your market, know what you want, know the end result, have fun. when you are presenting that idea, is that a fair transfer of your information? Can't hear you. Sorry, Geniene, can't hear you.
And now, can you hear me a bit better?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. So it's really about, no matter what you do in your life, even if you ask somebody to marry you, if your presentation is not right, or your presentation doesn't come from your heart, they're not going to say yes. So if you're at school and you present a project and you really want to do something that you believe in, let's say you want your classmates to clean up the river that runs nearby your school, you have to be able to sell that idea and say why it is important and talk from your heart. And so I believe in it because our environment needs to stay clean. As human beings, we need to look after our planet. And unless you believe that, the teacher that you're presenting to or your classmates won't believe that either.
Thank you.
I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. Thank you very much. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Are there any more questions that anybody'd like to ask?
Geniene, I don't have a specific question, but I agree with Celeste. Like, I teach kids, and I think presentation is so important in getting to sell your product. But I also think your passion and what you do shows in what you presented today, that you love what you do. And I love that you shared all your personality of things not matching, and who you are, and even that you are shy, and look what you do on the radio. And it's a different, sometimes we have to find a different way of showing our passion. If we're shy or introverted, it is very hard for us to get out there in front of people. It consumes all our energy. But I think, being able to do it on the radio still gives you that place to share that. And I think I really appreciate you being on here today and sharing all that you did about yourself and having the courage to do that.
Thank you. And yeah, I do. And I want people to know that doesn't matter if you're shy or not shy. If you really believe in something, you can do it. I mean, here I am sitting in the dark with a torch. And we knew it was coming, so it did throw me a little. But when I was a kid, I couldn't even enter a room full of people. I would just die. And I just decided if I was ever going to go somewhere in life, I had to just say what I felt. And that's when I started writing. And I still write today. And I find when you share something about yourself, people just really resonate with that. They go, oh, I'm a mom. Oh, gee, at 60, I can also do that. I can write stuff if it's simple. Because I think we're so fearful sometimes of what other people think. We're scared of being judged. And that fear we shouldn't have anymore. We should grow up knowing that we have the confidence to be who we are, whether we wear matching clothes or not. My daughter's always cringes when I walk in a room, like, Mom, couldn't you just wear something that matched?
I also agree.
So,
in class, when people are presenting or I'm presenting, you want to persuade and get their opinion. You might like shudder a little or get a little nervous, but like there's something to be afraid of. Just keep going and you'll get there.
and you know what you find if you share that you're really nervous and you say, you know what, I'm just dying inside. This is so hard for me. And suddenly there's 10 people in the room that resonate with you. And they go, that's exactly how I would feel. You are so brave. And I always think, no, I'm not brave. I just have to say this because I just need to. Because I love what I do. And I love the fact that we have a product in all of us. There's a product inside all of us.
At the beginning, you're always like nervous, but then after you're more calm, and then like it's not so hard at the end once you get to the conclusion or somewhere in the middle.
No, listen, I agree. And I can see that you're used to presenting as well. And I'm sure you do a really good job. I always found, because maybe I was never the prettiest in the class or I was always the most clever though. So that really helped. And you know, the kids who were all these gorgeous kids who always used to make fun of me, see where you'll be, and they would always help me get through my presentations. And I always had, especially in the English class, I would take out a sword if we were doing a skit on something that was in our English books. I'd bring all the things that were needed to tell the story. If there was a sword or there was a doll or there was something, I had all the tools because they were my audience. So I'm sure you do well. What do you present? I mean, have you got a product that you've presented?
Not this time, but I've presented a lot of, presented before. I also like do debates and all.
Oh, wow. Geez, that's brilliant. I wish you all the best. I think that would be, you must let me know when you're next on so I can watch.
Yeah. Sometimes in the summer I do a debating camp or something like that.
And you're from the States?
Yeah, from America.
Ah, so you guys have got lights.
Yeah, I didn't hear where you're from. Just find it out. Where are you from again?
I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa,
Oh,
where some days we have lights.
really
I've
hot
got lights. I'm also in Johannesburg. I've got lights at the moment. Geniene is out. And when Geniene has her lights, I will probably be out. That's just how it works.
Is it really hot there now or cold? It's mostly hot, right? Is it really hot now there?
Yeah, it's winter at the moment, but with load shedding, we just make sure that the radio, everything is recorded. It's put on a server somewhere else in another country, and my radio continues to run because we're South African. We make a plan.
Do you go somewhere for like at a radio station, or do you just record from like your house?
Yeah, we've got a studio and we built it at my house. So we do the studio here. And then we've got presenters working in different countries. We've got one from Philadelphia in the States. We've got one from Ghana. We have a couple from South Africa. They record their shows, pop them up on the server. I do the scheduling, and our radio runs like a dream. So does our TV, regardless of lights.
Thank you, Geniene, for such a wonderful
Thank you for your
presentation.
I'm
We
sorry
are
about
out of
all the
time, but you have been an inspiration to so many
Thank you.
of all ages. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And apologies about the sound.
No
I'm a radio
problem.
station. I should have good sound. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.